Well, hello everyone. My name is Mariana Cardona. I am originally from Mexico. Currently living in Granada, Spain. I'm a psychologist. I study the psychoanalytical theory and specialize in therapeutic companionment, working in the scenarios of the daily life of the people. It goes hand in hand with the inclusion situations at schools, at work spaces, community. So that's my psychological experience. And also, I'm a dancer and researcher of different dances from the world. I study education of dance on the National Academy of Dance of Mexico City. I specialize in Spanish dances, and also I dedicated some years studying some North Indian dances. I was able to go to the Caucasus to study some Caucasian dances. I've been training occasionally some Central Asian and Persian dances now with Nilufar. So, well, that's a little bit of my experience. And well, there is a very important reflections that I've been having around this inclusion situation about dancing with people with disabilities. Um, as we know, I think first we should to start to think about what is dance, what we consider about dance, because there are many conceptions about it. So I think for a start, we should to think about just to remember what it is. Dance is not just a movement. It's not just the expression of our feelings or emotions. I think it goes much more beyond than that. Dance is rooted in the memory of the people. Dance, its memory, is the identity of the cultures. Dance tells the story of a collective. It's a collective phenomenon, precisely, that manifests in the people and the humans. It tells the story about a specific point of history and people, and it goes through generations. It's like an open book where you can read about your past and your ancestors. Well, we dance to remember. We dance to remember. We dance to understand ourselves, to understand the weather, to understand the gods, to understand everything that's around us. So we dance to communicate with others and to share with others. So some people say that dance is one of the last of the arts. Some academics say like this because they think that dance integrates all of the other arts like music, literature, the plastic aesthetic arts. Everything gets integrated into dance. That's why they say it's the very last one, because you dance everything that happens to you. So dance, dance does not come from the nothingness. It just comes from the whole. It's complete. So if we can see around the world, they're everywhere, like in all Asia, in all Australia, Oceania, Europe, America, from Canada to Argentina. There's dance everywhere. We dance for everything. We don't need any special reason for dance because we dance all the time. We dance in the temples, we dance in the harvest, we dance with the movements of the planets to celebrate the spring, like Nuruz. We ask the gods for water by dancing. We we uh, we dance for everything. So uh, dance is part of who we are. So um, dance is a code of civilizations. It's like it gathers inside of the dance everything, like a cosmo. I don't know. I'm sorry about my English. I'm a Spanish speaker, but like a cosmology inside of the ritual of dance. So no movement comes from nothing. not even an expression or an spontaneous movement or even the improvisation. Nothing just comes from nothing because everything that happens to us, everything that happens to our ancestors remain in our cells, in our bones, in our neurological wires, and it's kept in our unconscious mind. There is a collective unconscious and individual also that's all entwined. So they all remain there. Our scenarios, the scenarios of our lives and our emotional configurations remain inside of us. So I think we should to keep this idea, just to continue with the further reflection. The depth of what is dance is so vast that when we talk about the dancers, our students, we should to think about the vast of the human being because we are so vast also. So um, dance is a deep act of self-determination because when we dance, we are aware of what's happening in our body. What are we doing it with our body? You choose to move when you are dancing. It's an inner dialogue and it has intentions. I should to move like this direction. I have to make this gesture. Everything is part of a conscious process in dance. So to take fully control of our body is our right. It's a human right and it's part of healing. And it's also challenging because, as we said, our story is inside of us. So there are parts of ourselves that makes it harder to move some kind of movements than others. It depends on our story. And to think about what a disability is, let's just remember, let's go back in time, 20 years ago, at the 2006 UN's Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, that it was a very, very important in the story of this, the disabilities, the disability people, sorry, um, because it changed the paradigm. Because now, as we know, the disabilities are now considered the barriers that the context sets, I'm sorry, so the person can participate or not, fully participate or not in the society. So the important thing about this is that the story changes because they are not pointing about at the person. Because in the previous paradigm, the medical paradigm, the problem, so we call it somehow, but that was the way it used to be seen. The person used to be the the problem, the one to rehabilitate, the diagnose. Now, in this paradigm changes, the person, it's recognized that it's not the person that has to change, it's the situation that's outside. So just to begin with this, because the medical paradigm was very, very harmful, was so harmful that some people with disabilities somehow became invisible at the shadow of the diagnosed label. It means that the story and your identity was imposed by a clinical label. So who are you? You are not diagnosed, but it used to be like this. That was the reality with this paradigm. And the people was fully minimized. And sadly, this keeps happening in some cases nowadays. So it's been a long way to erase these changes, this paradigm from the collectivity, and even from the families of the people with disabilities. I will say an example. You get to know John with an autistic diagnosis, and some people will say, well, this people has a diagnosis of autism, so okay, I know how the autistic people are. And with that statement in your mind, you do not get to know John, the person who he is. You are keeping the label of how an autistic person is supposed to be. So that's a big mistake that the old medical paradigm set. So the people, the person has just step aside, and the label, the clinical label, is what people see, what people are considering. So the person did not get to know John. Who was John? It was some guy with some diagnosis of autism. But who was him? They didn't even care about it. So that annihilates the person, and it was very, very harmful. And well, also some intervention approaches, or even the family dynamics of people with disabilities, are always telling their people, their family, what to do. They're always deciding instead of letting them taking decisions of their own lives. They are all the time uh, under they do not have the ability. They do not have um, the the power to choose. Someone else's are choose make the decisions for him. Someone else is thinking on his place, and that's very, very hard because it's like you are not letting the people develop like everyone else. So it continues happening. So these psychosocial dynamics build our realities. So we need to be very, very aware of what what we are doing and guarantee that these dynamics should not be repeated again anymore. So when we are creating a dance process with people with disabilities, we should be very, very aware always that the diagnosis is nothing. It may help to create some educational pedagogic strategies, but it's not more than that. We should be very clear about this. We should to clear our mind from preconceptions about our dancers, about our students, so we can be able to really get to know them and do not repeat the same oppressive patterns of the old paradigms that sadly remain in our society. And that's very, very important. So maybe in order to take true action at a social level and to continue creating this new paradigm, we should begin with ourselves. It can be very comfortable sometimes to play the role of, oh, I am the specialist. I know everything. Oh, give me the diagnosis. I know what's happening. Oh, I know. Or maybe the, oh, fully sweet, caring dance teacher. Oh, sweetie, come on. That tends to infantilize the person. So we need to take care of not using these roles because are harmful. We have to look about inside ourselves and to see maybe we act like this because it's hard for us to handle uncertainty. It's hard for us to maybe I will not have a good perform as a teacher. Our insecurities, our fears as teachers, dance teachers, we should to remove them and just clear our minds and do not handle these these roles that are very, very harmful because we are recreating the same patterns, oppressive patterns on the people with disabilities. So I think the real challenge is our own behavior. I think the challenge, the true challenge, is that the way we behave towards our students. Our I shapes the reality, and it's our duty to create safe places where the subjectivity of our dancers, of our students can unfold and can bloom because they own their own history, as we said at the beginning. Because our students are individuals with their own being. The oppression that I'm talking about is that we are not letting them be because we think we know, we think HDD is like this, like this. We think that Down syndrome is supposed to be like this. No, no. You have a person in front of you, and that's the only thing that matters. So, following this in this sense, we need to let, it's our responsibility as teachers to create places, spaces, so the people, the person, our dancers can appropriate their own story and be able to truly own who they are and to truly take their own territory, which is their body. The only thing that we can control, all of us as humans, is our body, is our territory. So we all deserve this. So we need to create these spaces, these classrooms, safe classrooms, so we can do it like this. So I think that's a very important thing in Danceable, because that's one of the most important objectives, to create this kind of spaces, because we all deserve to have our own sovereignty. It's like it's a very, very deep act of rebellion to take your body, take yourself, and can tell your story and who you are. Because the only person that can talk about yourself is you. The only person can tell your story is you, no one else. Not a doctor, not a psychologist, no one but you. And we all have the right to do it. So, and we also have the right to share or not to share it. It's like in dance. We have the movement, we have the stillness. Music has the rhythm, but also has the silence. So we all have the right to choose what we do with ourselves. And so on with the process on a dance process, learning process. So with the time, also it comes something very important, that is the bonding. The bonding you create with your teacher or with the group, it has to takes place. And this means the psychosocial quality of dance that we speak before, because it's a collectivity, it's a collective phenomenon. Dance is a social bonding, is so an invisible thread that holds the subjectivity of all of the dancers. Every movement is a knot of a story that goes far beyond than just an inclusive dance class. When we see a choreography, everything has a reason to be there. It's a piece of art. And this piece of art is reflecting us what what all the dimension of the society is. Because we all have a place in the society. We all have a place in the choreography. We all have a role inside. And inside of this, everyone has the ability to be the author of their own story at the same time as individuals, but also being part of the collectivity. So a choreography, what shows you? Everything has an order. Everyone has a place. And so on the society. And so on with our ancestors. Everyone has a place. We all depend on each other. The baby depends on its mother, on its family. We are social beings. So the most important thing to remember, just to finish with these reflections, is just, I exist because you exist. That goes much more further than just inclusive. It's just active participation. And we are all one. And I think that's a very important thing. Well, I hope everything had a clarity. I'm sorry about my English. I am a Spanish speaker. I'm doing the best I can. I hope I can communicate with all of you. I hope my message was clear, and well, it's very amazing, very beautiful to know that, like a big net all around the world, we are all into the same, like trying to create spaces for everyone, because that's who we are. So thank you very much. See you next time. And well, the Danceable, uh, we will continue with the networking and just continue working as hard as we've been doing. So thank you very much.